Hello everyone, this is Theophilus and welcome back to my channel. This video is going to be more of a freestyle, more so just an update and a message on why you have to keep going and why you should prioritize your energy and your mental health above everything. So if you know anything about me recently, you'll know that things have been changing this past year. Firstly, I am in a relationship, not a monogamous relationship. Well, she's monogamous towards me, but I think you know what I'm saying. And I do take responsibility for her, I like to make sure she's well and she's taken care of physically, sexually, mentally. And this is probably going to last at least a good couple years. And this has taught me a lot. This has taught me a lot about desire, about masculinity and femininity, and about how a woman behaves when she really, really, really is into you. She's really into you. She won't just be nice and let you mess up a bunch of times, but she'll, in your eyes, as long as you're doing all you can to make it and to get to the next level and to support her and help her, she's gonna ride or die for you. And if you don't feel that that's deep down in your woman, there's a good chance that she's not really in love with you and attached and obsessed with you. Now, I'm not saying a relationship can't work if it's not like that, but they usually don't last very long, or they end with a lot of bitterness and resentment and all that. But that's happened. I also have gotten a full-time job where I work 40 to 50 hours a week doing preventative maintenance for vehicles, and also sales, and try to grow my online business and empire in the background. And that's a bit of a slow grind, but I'm seeing progress. And also dealing with injury. If you don't know, I've had level 1 spinal arthritis probably for a couple years, and I've been dealing with it. And the spinal area, as well as the lower back area, that injury spreads out towards the hips, the front of the hips, right here, and the abdomen. I also have an injury in the center of my back, which does spread up towards the top of my spine and my neck, as well as my shoulder area and shoulder blades. And dealing with those injuries while not working the easiest physical job is certainly a challenge, and it's teaching me a lot about myself, about my body, about hardship, about pain, and about mentality. And those have been pretty difficult. I've been managing and I've been getting better. I believe I've been getting stronger mentally. I've been learning to manage my finances, to where now I'm still paying every bill, but I'm less stressed, I'm being conscious of how much is coming in, how much is going out, and I'm making sure that each week I have enough to last through the week, And at this time, I don't really mind living paycheck to paycheck as long as I'm saving at least $20, $50 a paycheck, and I'm having a little money to invest into myself after rent, bills, food, my lover, all that's taken care of. I still have a little bit to invest into myself for the long-term future. And also, I recently purchased a vehicle. Purchased an old sedan, nearly 200,000 miles, and I've done a few things on it. I've gotten the CV axle changed underneath because that was nearly going to break, and the vehicle's turning a lot better. Also had my O2 sensor replaced, and I've had my coolant exchanged to keep my vehicle cooler. Next is probably the brake shoes and maybe what they call the master cylinder. The main thing that helps to move, when you actually push the brake, the pad that actually hits the brakes. Mine is pretty weak, or the hydraulic system is pretty weak. So when I push it, I have to hold the pedal all the way down. And you can't just slam on the brakes. You have to push it 30 feet before you stop, and you have to ease into it. And I can feel that it's very light, almost like there's too much air in it and not enough fluid. Because usually if you just tap the brakes, the brake fluid is what when you tap the brakes, the brake fluid is what moves the hydraulic system for the brakes. It's not like air, it's brake fluid. So there's probably air in that fluid, and it's not pushing as hard. So instead of like this, it's like this. And I've worked with these kind of hydraulic systems before, namely when I'm at a sawmill. We had this one thing that used to move cants, and it will slam the cant really hard against the wall as the belt pushes it through. But we had it where it doesn't slam it really hard. It's like, and that's an air pressure thing. Mine could be air, or also I think that having air inside of the brake fluid could cause that. That or the master cylinder, whichever the one is, I'm going to get the brake shoes done. I'm going to have it looked at, see if it's air in the brake fluid, because my brake fluid's also old. See if it's the master cylinder, and then go from there. After I get that, inspection should pass, title, you know the rest. Then oil changes and all that other stuff. But the vehicle driving good. I'm confident that I can drive it for the next few months without really worrying too much, just being cautious, being present. A lot of driving is muscle memory, presence, and perception, right? Knowing how much time you have to make this turn, watching out for the other drivers, because those are more hazardous to you than anything else. There's the other drivers, especially in Houston, Texas, and man, we have some terrible drivers. We have some ridiculous drivers. We have many, many, many unlicensed drivers, many, many uninsured drivers. There are kids that are driving. Elderly people, not that elderly people drive bad, but they can be very nervous and afraid, making them drive very anxiously without caution. There are drunk drivers, high drivers, etc. Right? There's a plethora of people that should not be driving a vehicle that can drive a vehicle, and it's terrible. But though I have these responsibilities and these pressures on me, I'm learning to manage my mental health through managing my energy and through being in a meditative state. There's a man named Charlie Morgan. If you watch my Instagram, if you watch my TikTok, you know that I followed him almost religiously for several months because he has a free course on business. And he talks a lot about different aspects about building an online business, building a clientele, building an online audience, and funneling that into online business to where you can make enough money to work from home, and you could travel, live the life of your dreams, etc., right? And I'm still in the building stage, and the building stage takes a long time. That's why most people quit, because the building stage can take 6 months to a year to 2 to 10 years, some people, and it's a really slow grind, and it can be frustrated when, like me, for example, I put out at least 200, maybe near 300 vids, and I have about 25 subscribers, averaging about 3 to 6 views a video. That could be frustrating. But I know what topics are hitting the algorithm, which topics are not hitting the algorithm, how much engagement I'm getting, etc. And my school's community is growing steadily as well, so that's good. But Charlie Morgan made this one video talking about like work and rest and the different stages of work and the different stages of rest. He gives them both a scale of 1 to 7, 1 to 7 in work and 1 to 7 in rest. And when you don't manage your work versus your rest, your mind gets overloaded and it can shut down. It can have what you call forced rest. Like if someone collapses or they get into a coma or they start to have what's known as a psychotic breakdown. And even last year, I've had 2 times where I've had the beginnings of that because I wasn't watching my stress. I wasn't conscious of how much pressure I was under, and I was just pushing to where my mind just stopped working nearly as good. And maybe I'll talk about that one day, but probably not right now. But you have to be conscious of, you could say, the pressure settings in your life, right? How many hours a day are you working? Are you getting good enough sleep? Are you eating decent food? How much time do you spend in silence and thinking and processing and analyzing, right? A lot of people will say that people that make my kind of content are toxically masculine, we're misogynist, all this other stuff. But I would argue, a man that doesn't practice mental control, a man that doesn't practice self-development, a man that doesn't practice either meditation or some form of stoicism, I would argue that those are the people that are more toxically masculine, including women that are not into self-development at all, that hate and despise self-development. Think a man should just know it and get it naturally when that's never happened throughout history. A man still has to learn, even if he learns it from an early age. And a lot of what these people say is toxic masculinity are actually the same character attributes that they themselves have, like being harsh and hateful and mean and spiteful towards men. That's toxic. Being deceptive and lying and manipulative towards their own gender. Isn't that toxic and evil and ill-willed? But a strong man, a man of value, a man of courage, and a man of honor has a set of morals. He has a code of conduct that he sticks by, which keeps him grounded and keeps him from doing anything that he knows is bad. Not saying every man's logic is perfect or anything like that, but just think, right? I feel much more safe around a strong man that has mental control than an angry woman or a weak man, or a man that's physically intimidating, but mentally he's weak and angry and he's just ready to snap on someone, right? People look at people that, commit crimes and stuff like that. Most of these people are emotionally weak people that don't know how to control themselves, right? Look at someone that's a school shooter. Is that an emotionally stable person? No, it's not. It's someone that's very emotionally weak, who's been taught to do things based on how they feel. And when someone does things based on how they feel, they end up doing things that hurt other people, right? Because a man can't always do what he feels like, right? I get really, really angry at times. I get so angry that I don't want to speak to people. I stop smiling, I stop joking, I sort of distance myself, and I slow down in what I'm doing so that my mind can process my emotions or what I'm going through. And I don't think I've ever snapped on anyone in the last little while. The only time I'll snap is when, say, someone wants to argue with me, and I raise my voice, not necessarily because I want to argue with them, but to make my presence felt, right? To let the person know I'm serious, I'm not playing games with you, and you need to listen to what I'm saying right now, right? I am selectively using my masculinity, my testosterone, and my voice to control the situation, right? Like if someone gets mad and angry at me, example, right? I do inspectors for people's stickers, right? Someone gets mad and angry at me, I don't pass or fail the person. The machine that I hooked up to the vehicle is what passes or fails the person. Or say I tell someone they have an oil leak. They say, well, oil's not leaking in my driveway, therefore I don't have an oil leak. Both of these people are having a misunderstanding, and they get emotional because it's their car, and there's a part of their car that they've let slip that they haven't been on top of. Then they get offended when you're telling them there's something going on with their vehicle, right? They have an emotional reaction, and I strategically use my emotions to control the situation. Not to direct my frustration at anyone. I don't ever think it's right for a man to direct his anger or his frustration at anyone. Even if someone asks me how my day is feeling, I'm feeling extremely depressed. It's not right for me to project my emotions onto that person. I say, well, I'm doing all right. I'm making it through. Paying my bills, working. At the end of the day, I have a smile. I'm okay, right? I'm not going to crash out. So I'm okay. I can keep working. I can keep doing what I got to do. I can keep being respectful and cordial. I can get the job done. I can go home, get some rest, wake up, and do it again the next day. I can work 7 days a week if I have to. I have. Right? I have emotional control. Yet the world will claim that this is toxic and evil and manipulative and all these other things. And I don't want to talk about that too much, so I'm going to pause that there. But this is something I've had to teach myself on a deeper level recently. You can't just numb your emotions. You can't just numb your emotions. You have to self-therapize. You have to process your emotions. At the end of the day, what I'll do, at least half the days out of the week, I don't consistently meditate like I used to. I used to meditate 40 minutes a day, right? But once you practice a level of mental control and discipline and you learn how to be in a meditative state, you don't actually need to meditate. As you're driving, you could just slow down and focus on your breath. As you're dealing with a customer, you can slow down and focus on your breath. As you're walking, as you're thinking throughout the day, slow down and focus on your breath. Same thing. And at the end of the day, and at the beginning of the day, at least spend like 20, 30 minutes just focusing on your breath, focusing on your mentality and your emotions. What emotions have you felt the most? Oh, I felt really angry today. Why? Well, what made me angry? I felt angry when I had to deal with this customer, that I had to deal with this kind of vehicle that I don't like dealing with. Then this problem comes that I never know what to do, and I had to ask for help. And the person I had to ask for help with was upset with me. And the customer was saying, it's y'all taking too long. Then we left a bad review. And then this happened. I dropped this and then that. Okay. So I'm emotionally reacting to all these things. Is it logical to have these emotions? Yes, it's a normal logical reaction. Okay, what could I have done better? So I need to work on this. All right, I'll make some notes to myself. I need to work on this. Okay, and this I can't control, so there's no point in stressing over it, right? I talk to myself. I self-therapize, and I use this to process my emotions on a daily basis. I don't really have friends that I talk to. I don't have any. No one actually cares about a man's emotions, unfortunately. Except maybe a man's girl, his wife, and his children. Maybe. Maybe his mommy. Perhaps. But I don't really have that. Yeah. So because no one, and that's just realistic. That's not just something to bring you down. That's reality. To tell men that they need to take care of their own mentality and their own mental health. And when the pressure starts getting thick or tough or harsh, and I'm consistently more frustrated, or I'm consistently more sad, or if I catch myself being like anxious and breathing fast, or it's hard to breathe, I really need to focus. I need to meditate. I need to focus on what's happening. There are unprocessed emotions. There's unprocessed information that I haven't dealt with, and I need to slow down and deal with it. And as I slow down and deal with it, my mind will get better. Our mind doesn't like unfinished business. It doesn't like loose ends, if you will. Our mind likes when we start something and we finish it. We see something through to the end, right? That's why if you're watching a show that's new and exciting, your brain may run to where you can't sleep because you want to finish. You want to see that what happened on that cliffhanger. Your mind doesn't like unfinished business. And specifically men like me, we aren't very good at multitasking. We're good at ordering steps in our mind. Okay, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this. Every few minutes, I stop, I look around, make sure no new customers have walked in, make sure no new customers are walking out, making sure everything's handled, making sure I'm on task, doing everything that needs to be done, and making sure the customers are satisfied, right? That's my job. And when I'm doing that, my mind is good. I get into a flow, I get into a rhythm, I feel happier, I feel more fulfilled. And this helps me a lot. Just being in a meditative state, breathing. If you're stressed and you come home, hey, if you have bad habits, I understand. I got my bad habits too. But even before I do anything, before I eat, before I get to scrolling on the phone, before I even talk to my girl or whatever, I slow down and I breathe. I feel real tense in my breath, in my breathing. I focus 10 more minutes, 20 more minutes. And then my mind will walk itself through the day. Now remember this happened, and this happened. Oh, you're dealing with more stress than usual. Or you have a little less money in your bank account than you expected. Or you have this problem that's coming up. You have this situation. Or you have this person with this unresolved problem that you need to prepare to deal with, or else it's going to grow and fester and get worse. Oh, I see. So this man was acting this way towards me because I'm doing this. This woman is acting this way towards me probably because maybe I need to ask her. Maybe I don't need to ask her. Maybe she respects me and she likes me as a person. Maybe she doesn't respect me or she doesn't. There's all types of unprocessed information that your brain absorbs that you don't finish throughout the day. You know what I'm saying? So this helps me tremendously, man. This helps me so much. I can't tell you how much it helps me. It's natural emotional regulation that men have done all throughout history, by the way. It's going to help you get through it day by day by day. And it makes it to where you stop numbing yourself. You don't want to numb yourself. Because you don't want to wake up the next day and then you're troubled about something that happened yesterday that you didn't deal with in your mind. You get what I'm saying? To where you like sobriety, you like focus, you like presence, you like being in the moment and knowing what's going on in your mind and not just guessing and being scared and troubled, right? This is when a man has control. This is when a man is strong. And men that have the most emotional control, they've learned how to do this throughout the years. They've learned how to regulate their own emotions. They've learned how to take care of themselves and their priorities without getting too caught up in their emotions. And this is what masculinity is. It's the ability to do the thing that needs to be done, to be logical in the midst of all your emotions. It's not the absence of emotion. And in fact, if you try to pretend like you don't have emotions, those emotions are just going to bottle up and fester until they explode, right? Like any energy, like what people call sexual energy. I myself don't practice semen retention very much, but I understand the concept and it makes a lot of sense, and I've tasted of it. Your energy it can't be like extinguished. It's not like a light, like it just burns and burns and burns and it goes away. I mean, it is in one sense, but it's not just going to burn on its own. It's like calories. It's like body fat, right? Excess energy is just going to store up into body fat. It can only be transferred, right? If you eat that juicy, sloppy burger and your body can't absorb the goodness because there isn't much goodness to be absorbed, that all that junk that should be being excreted out of your body is going to find its way to store itself into your body. That energy can only be transferred, right? Same with sexual energy. If you're not transmuting your sexual energy, when you feel sexual desire, if you're not able to sit with it and think about it and reflect, I'm not talking about thinking about sex. I'm talking about spending time understanding yourself and why you have these desires, especially as a man. And growing up, we're taught these desires are just evil and wicked and depraved, and we're wrong for having these desires when all men have these desires. Don't suppress it. Don't repress it, or else it's just going to come out in different ways. Learn how to be content with your presence. Learn how to be comfortable with your sexual desires and your sexual energy. And then that excess energy you have throughout the day, instead of getting on your phone at nighttime, you can think, you can write, you can plan out your future, and if you have more energy, you can work towards that future at night. This helps me a lot too, right? Transmuting that energy really helps. And this is how you help kind of adjust the pressure settings in your life. This is how you regulate your mind through everything that you're going through. People that don't do this have a significantly harder life and significantly worse mental health. Doing this will just save you a lot. But that's pretty much all I got right now. If you have anything you want me to speak about or any topic you'd want me to cover in the future, please let me know. This is more of a freestyle, but I hope that you do appreciate it. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Stay focused. Keep working. I know it may not get easier right now, but all your hard work will be worth it in the end. Just trust the process. Focus on the journey. Enjoy the journey. Because your goal isn't the destination. It's the man you're going to become on the way to the destination. So that when you finally get that goal, that prize, you'll appreciate it. And you'll be thankful for the man that you become. Do things today that your future self will be proud of. In future, you will be thankful that past you did it. Keep working, keep grinding. Be your best self. Meditate. Focus on yourself. Journal. Mentally illustrate your goals. Imagine the future you desire. Actively go towards it. Attract it, manifest it, watch it come to you, and trust that your hard work will pay off in one way or another. Thank y'all. See you next time.